dreams, the hopes, the plans, and why is there such a large disparity between what these men intended to do and what they actually accomplished? When we say about 5% achieve success, we have to define success. And here's the best definition I've ever been able to find. Success is the progressive a moment, and then he said, men simply don't think. It's about this that I want to talk with you. We live today in a golden age. This is an era that man has looked forward to, dreamed of, and worked toward for thousands of years. But since it's here, we pretty well take it for granted. We in America are particularly fortunate to live in the richest land that ever existed on the face of the earth, a land of abundant opportunity for everyone. But do you know what happens? Well, let's take 100 men who start even at the age of 25. Do you have any idea what will happen to those men by the time they're 65? These 100 men who all start even at the age of 25 believe they're going to be successful. If you ask any one of these men if he wanted to be a success, he'd tell you he did. And you'd notice that he was eager toward life, that there was a certain sparkle to his eye, an erectness to his carriage, and life seemed like a pretty interesting adventure to him. But by the time they're 65, 1 will be rich. 4 will be financially independent. 5 will still be working. 54 will be broke. Now think a moment. Out of the 100, only 5 make the grade. Now why do so many fail? What has happened to the sparkle that was there when they were 25? What's become of the dreams, the hopes, the plans? And why is there such a large disparity between what these men intended to do and what they actually accomplished? When we say about 5% achieve success, we have to define success. And here's the best definition I've ever been able to find. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. If a man is working toward a predetermined goal and knows where he's going, that man is a success. If he's not doing that, he's a failure. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Rollo May, the distinguished psychiatrist, wrote a wonderful book called Man's Search for Himself. And in this book, he says, the opposite of courage in our society is not cowardice. It is conformity. And there you have the trouble today. It's conformity. People acting like everyone else without knowing why, without knowing where they're going. Now think of it. In America right now, there are over 18 million people 65 years of age and older. And most of them are broke. They're dependent on someone else for life's necessities. Now, we learn to read by the time we're 7. We learn to make a living by the time we're 25. Usually by that time, we're not only making a living, we're supporting a family. And yet by the time we're 65, we haven't learned how to become financially independent in the richest land that has ever been known. Why? We conform. And the trouble is that we're acting like the wrong percentage group, the 95 who don't succeed. Now, why do these people conform? Well, they really don't know. These people believe that their lives are shaped by circumstances, by things that happen to them, by exterior forces. They're outer-directed people. A survey was made one time that covered a lot of men, working men, and these men were asked, why do you work? Why do you get up in the morning? 19 out of 20 had no idea. If you ask them, they'll say, well, everyone goes to work in the morning, and that's the reason they do it, because everyone else is doing it. Now, let's get back to our definition of success. Who succeeds? The only person who succeeds is the person who is progressively realizing a worthy ideal. He's the person who says, I'm going to become this, and then begins to work toward that goal. I'll tell you who the successful people are. A success is the school teacher who's teaching school because that's what he or she wants to do. The success is the woman who's a wife and mother because she wanted to become a wife and mother and is doing a good job of it. The success is the man who runs the corner gas station because that was his dream. That's what he wanted to do. The success is the successful salesman who wants to become a top-notch salesman and grow and build with his organization. A success is anyone who is doing deliberately a predetermined job because that's what he decided to do deliberately. But only 1 out of 20 does that. That's why today there isn't really any competition unless we make it for ourselves. Instead of competing, all we have to do is create. You know, for 20 years, I looked for the key which would determine what would happen to a human being. Was there a key I wanted to know which would make the future a promise that we could foretell to a large extent? Was there a key that would guarantee a person's becoming successful if he only knew about it and knew how to use it? Well, there is such a key, and I found it. Have you ever wondered why so many men work so hard and honestly without ever achieving anything in particular, and others don't seem to work hard and yet seem to get everything? They seem to have the magic touch. You've heard them say that about someone. Everything he touches turns to gold. And have you ever noticed that a man who becomes successful tends to continue to become successful? And on the other hand, have you noticed how a man who's a failure tends to continue to fail? Well, it's because of goals. Some of us have goals, some don't. People with goals succeed because they know where they're going. It's that simple. Think of a ship leaving a harbor, and think of it with the complete voyage mapped out and planned. The captain and crew know exactly where it's going and how long it'll take. It has a definite goal. Now, 9,999 times out of 10,000, it will get to where it started out to get. Now, let's take another ship, just like the first, only let's not put a crew on it or a captain at the helm. Let's give it no aiming point, no goal, no destination. We just start the engines and let it go. I think you'll agree with me that if it gets out of the harbor at all, it will either sink or wind up on some deserted beach, a derelict. It can't go anyplace because it has no destination and no guidance, and it's the same with a human being. Take the salesman, for example. There's no other person in the world today with the future of a good salesman. Selling is the world's highest paid profession, if we're good at it and if we know where we're going. Every company needs top-notch salesmen, and they reward those men. The sky's the limit for them. But how many can you find? Someone once said the human race is fixed, not to prevent the strong from winning, but to prevent the weak from losing. The American economy today can be likened to a convoy in time of war. The entire economy is slowed down to protect its weakest link, just as the convoy had to go at the speed that would permit its slowest vessel to remain in formation. That's why it's so easy to make a living today. It takes no particular brains or talent to make a living and support a family today. So we have a plateau of so-called security, if that's what a person's looking for. But we do have to decide how high above this plateau we want to aim. Now let's get back to the strangest secret in the world, the story that I wanted to tell you today. Why do men with goals succeed in life and men without them fail? Well, let me tell you something which, if you really understand it, will alter your life immediately. If you understand completely what I'm going to tell you from this moment on, your life will never be the same again. You will suddenly find that good luck just seems to be attracted to you. The things you want just seem to fall in line, and from now on you won't have the problems, the worries, the gnawing lump of anxiety that perhaps you've experienced before. Doubt, fear, well, there'll be things of the past. Here's the key to success and the key to failure. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about. Throughout all history, the great wise men and teachers, philosophers and prophets have disagreed with one another on many different things. It's only on this one point that they are in complete and unanimous agreement. Listen to what Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, said. A man's life is what his thoughts make of it. Disraeli said this. Everything comes if a man will only wait. I brought myself by long meditation to the conviction that a human being with a settled purpose must accomplish it, and that nothing can resist a will that will stake even existence for its fulfillment. Ralph Waldo Emerson said this, a man is what he thinks about all day long. William James said, the greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. And he also said, we need only in cold blood act as if the thing in question were real, and it will become infallibly real by growing into such a connection with our life that it will become real. It will become knit with habit and emotion, that our interest in it will be those which characterize belief. And he also said, if you only care enough for a result, you will almost certainly attain it.
Thank you.
If you wish to be rich, you will be rich. If you wish to be learned, you will be learned. If you wish to be good, you will be good. Only you must then really wish these things and wish them exclusively, and not wish at the same time 100 other incompatible things just as strongly. In the Bible, you read in Mark 9:23, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. My old friend Dr. Norman Vincent Peale put it this way. This is one of the greatest laws in the universe. Fervently do I wish I had discovered it as a very young man. It dawned upon me much later in life, and I found it to be one of the greatest, if not my greatest discovery outside of my relationship to God. The great law, briefly and simply stated, is that if you think in negative terms, you will get negative results. If you think in positive terms, you will achieve positive results. That is the simple fact, he went on to say, which is at the basis of an astonishing law of prosperity and success. In 3 words, believe and succeed. William Shakespeare put it this way: our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. George Bernard Shaw said, people are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in this world are the people who get up and look for the circumstances they want, and if they can't find them, make them. Well, that's pretty apparent, isn't it? And every person who discovered this for a while believed that he was the first one to work it out. We become what we think about. Now, it stands to reason that a person who's thinking about a concrete and worthwhile goal is going to reach it, because that's what he's thinking about, and we become what we think about. Conversely, the man who has no goal, who doesn't know where he's going, and whose thoughts must therefore be thoughts of confusion and anxiety and fear and worry, becomes what he thinks about. His life becomes one of frustration and fear and anxiety and worry. And if he thinks about nothing, he becomes nothing. Now, how does it work? Why do we become what we think about? Well, I'll tell you how it works as far as we know. Now, to do this, I want to tell you about a situation that parallels the human mind. Suppose a farmer has some land, and it's good fertile land. Now, the land gives the farmer a choice. He may plant in that land whatever he chooses. The land doesn't care. It's up to the farmer to make the decision. Now, remember, we're comparing the human mind with the land because the mind, like the land, doesn't care what you plant in it. It will return what you plant, but it doesn't care what you plant. Now, let's say that the farmer has 2 seeds in his hand. One is a seed of corn. The other is nightshade, a deadly poison. He digs 2 little holes in the earth, and he plants both seeds, one corn, the other nightshade. He covers up the holes, waters, and takes care of the land, and what will happen? Invariably, the land will return what's planted. As it's written in the Bible, as ye sow, so shall ye reap. Now remember, the land doesn't care. It'll return poison in just as wonderful abundance as it will corn. So up come the 2 plants, one corn, one poison. Now, the human mind is far more fertile, far more incredible and mysterious than the land, but it works the same way. It doesn't care what we plant. Success, failure. A concrete, worthwhile goal, or confusion. Misunderstanding, fear, anxiety, and so on. But what we plant, it must return to us. You see, the human mind is the last great unexplored continent on Earth. It contains riches beyond our wildest dreams. It will return anything we want to plant. Now, you might say, well, if that's true, why don't people use their minds more? Well, I think they figured out an answer to that one, too. Our mind comes as...
All right, guys, we're going to start in 60 seconds. 60 seconds. So let's spread the word. Let's let everybody know that we are going to be starting Mornings with Nano in exactly 60 seconds. It's going to be a good call, so spread the word out to everybody, fam. We're going to start in 60 seconds, fam.
Standard equipment at birth. It's free, and things that are given to us for nothing, we place little value on. Things that we pay money for, we value. The paradox is that exactly the reverse is true. Everything that's really worthwhile in life came to us free. Our minds, our souls, our bodies, our hopes, our dreams, our ambitions, our intelligence, our love of family and children and friends and country, all these priceless possessions are free. But the things that cost us money are actually very cheap and can be replaced at any time. A good man can be completely wiped out and make another fortune. He can do that several times. Even if our home burns down, we can rebuild it. But the things we got for nothing, we can never replace. The human mind isn't used because we take it for granted. Familiarity breeds contempt. It can do any kind of job we assign to it, but generally speaking, we use it for little jobs instead of big, important ones. Universities have proved that most of us are operating on about 10% or less of our abilities. So decide now, what is it you want? Plant your goal in your mind. It's the most important decision you ever make in your entire life. What is it you want? You want to be an outstanding salesman? A better worker at your particular job? You want to go places in your company, in your community? Do you want to get rich? All you got to do is plant that seed in your mind, care for it, work steadily toward your goal, and it will become a reality. It not only will, there's no way that it cannot. You see, that's a law, like the laws of Sir Isaac Newton, the laws of gravity. If you get on top of a building and jump off, you'll always go down. You'll never go up. And it's the same with all the other laws of nature. They always work. They're inflexible. Think about your goal in a relaxed, positive way. Picture yourself in your mind's eye as having already achieved this goal. See yourself doing the things you will be doing when you've reached your goal. Ours has been called the phenobarbital age, the age of ulcers and nervous breakdowns and tranquilizers, at a time when medical research has raised us to a new plateau of good health and longevity. Far too many of us worry ourselves into an early grave, trying to cope with things in our own little personal ways, without learning a few great laws that will take care of everything for us. These things we bring on ourselves through our habitual way of thinking. Every one of us is the sum total of his own thoughts. He is where he is because that's exactly where he really wants to be, whether he'll admit that or not. Each of us must live off the fruit of his thoughts in the future, because what you think today and tomorrow, next month and next year, will mold your life and determine your future.
Man, I hope you guys were listening to that. I hope you guys were listening to that one right there. All right, fam. Grand Rising and happy Wednesday. Hope everybody is having a blessed morning. I know I am. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling aligned. I'm feeling connected. I just realized my little brother has his luggage right here. Hold up. Give me a sec. Let me move this over. But in the meantime, guys, drop one thing that you guys are grateful for. Let me move this luggage right here. What is one thing that we are grateful for this morning? I am super blessed, super grateful, super excited. I'm looking forward to today's call. Today's call is going to be a really good one. I'm actually very excited. I am grateful for God. I am grateful for family. I am grateful for my health. I am grateful for my mom, my dad, my little brother, my goddaughter, Dariana. I'm grateful for my brother Chile. He actually just made me some mango kind of say, right? He made us some food this morning, so I'm excited and I'm blessed. I usually never eat before mornings with Nano, but for some reason we woke up so hungry this morning. I don't know what it was. I think it was all the basketball we played last night. But I'm blessed. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for Katie. I'm grateful for my team. I'm grateful for the leaders within my organization. I'm grateful for the wisdom, the knowledge that we have, my healthy mind, my healthy spirit, my healthy mind, body, and spirit, my healthy mind, body, and spirit. I'm grateful for the whole Mornings with Nano family, grateful for all the leaders within my organization and all the amazing things that are happening each and every single day, guys. So I'm blessed and I am grateful and I am really looking forward to today's call, guys. So let's continue to spread that word, get the word out to everybody. That audio right there is called The Most Strangest Secret. It's called The Strangest Secret, not The Most Strangest. It's just called The Strangest Secret. And that was one of the audios that I started to listen to very early on that changed my life, right? And I share that with you guys because I had one of my mentors tell me that he listened to that audio every single day for his whole school year, right? He listened to it for an entire school year. He listened to it in his dorm room to go to sleep, in his car while in class. Like, he listened to it over and over and over and over again. And if you're looking for an audio for the month, right, let your audio for the month be, The Strangest Secret, because it really is a really good audio that each and every single one of you guys can start learning from. You can find it on YouTube. It's an incredible audio, and it's a really good one, right? So, what's the name of the chapter again? So today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics. One of my favorite topics to do, actually, because I've been really working on my mind, right? I've been working on my mind. Yes, please report all the fake accounts, please, if you can. I know I have a lot of them, but I've had the pleasure of working on my mind for years. And because I've worked on my mind for years, I've realized, the power of the mind. I've realized what you can create when you start to work on the mind. And I've always encouraged you guys to do so, right? A few years ago, I would say like a year or two ago, I was given this book, right? it was mailed to my house. I was on the road. It was shipped to my house. And I never knew who sent me the book. So still to this day, I don't know who bought me this book. Okay. And it's called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. This is one of the books that for sure changed my life, guaranteed. And I gave it to my little brother to read. And this morning, he's telling me about how fire the chapter is and how fire the book is and everything. And I asked him, like, yo, have you read The Most Extraordinary Garden chapter? And he was like, nah, I'm actually reading it right now. So it's perfect because it goes hand in hand with kind of like the things that we are talking about and just life in general and working on ourselves and the deep work and everything. Um, and I said, you know what? I've done this training in the past, but I was like, let me redo it again because I just need myself just a reminder of it. And as I was reading some of the, quotes and things that I highlighted, man, you guys are in for a treat with what I'm going to be covering today. So today's topic is going to be the most extraordinary garden. Okay, the most extraordinary garden. Now, when I talk about the garden, what do you guys think I am referring to? Right? Type it in the chat box. When I refer to the garden, what am I referring to? What am I referring to when I talk about the garden? Right? We're talking about our mind. Okay, your mind is the garden. Now, I'm going to read some of the stuff from this book because he says some very valuable stuff in this book that for the most part, I want you guys just to listen. Okay. And if you want to listen, take some notes as you go. But I want to make sure that you guys understand this on a different level, right? And it's one thing when you read it, but it's another thing when we read it and break it down. Okay. So that's what we're gonna do here. I'm gonna read some of the things that I highlighted so you can see how powerful this book actually is and the way that we are, maybe damaging our mind or improving our mind. All right. So let's start it off. So look at what he says. He says, in the fable, the garden is a symbol for the mind, said Julian. If you care for your mind, if you nurture it, and if you cultivate it, just like a fertile and rich garden, it will blossom far beyond your expectations. But if you let the weeds take root, lasting peace of mind and deep inner harmony will always elude you. Right? Now, what is the definition of elude? Right? If we look up the definition of elude is escape, evade, right? It'll go away from you. Okay. So if we read that again, listen to it one more time. This is how it starts, right? In the fable, the garden is a symbol of the mind. So what we're going to be talking about is the mind today. Okay. If you care for your mind, if you nurture it, and if you cultivate it, right? Let's look up the definition of cultivate, right? Just in case you don't know, because this is what I do when I'm reading these books. I want to know because I kind of have an idea of what it means, but I want to know the exact meaning of it, right? So cultivate is prepare and use. Okay. So prepare and use for crops and gardening. So it's the preparation of it. Okay. So let's do it again now. In the fable, the garden is a symbol of the mind. If you care for your mind, if you nurture it, and if you cultivate it, just like a fertile, rich garden, it will blossom far beyond your expectations. But if you let the weeds take root, lasting peace of mind and inner harmony will always elude you. Now, let's break down the first line, right? He says, if you care for your mind, if you nurture your mind, and if you cultivate your mind. Okay. Now, how do we care for our mind? How do we nurture our mind? And how do we cultivate our mind? Every day, there has to be a practice that we do in order for us to do so. Right? Waking up and getting on your phone is not caring for your mind. Okay. Not reading and pouring information into your mind, that shows you that you don't care about your mind. Because if you think about it, you feed your body every day. So if you're not reading and listening to audios every day, you don't care about your mind. Because every single day you make it a priority to eat. You make it a priority to eat sometimes 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and night. But minimum for sure, you make it a choice to eat at least twice a day for the most part. We are taught to eat at least 3 times, right? We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, obviously, right? That's priority to us. And it's so crazy. Think about this. We get hangry, not angry, hangry if we don't get fed. We will literally turn up on somebody and we will get really frustrated if we have hours without eating. Okay? Trust me, I've dealt with it myself. I've been hangry and I've met people around me who get hangry as well. Trust me, it's not fun when you have a girlfriend who's hangry. That's the worst. You do not want to get your girlfriend hangry because it's like it's the worst, bro. So I know what it's like. Trust me. I've been there. Okay? But I say that to say this. It's cool. We get angry and we want to eat. But if you ever think about it, why don't we have that same attitude towards feeding our mind? Imagine if we had that same attitude towards feeding our mind. Imagine if we got mad, right? Imagine if we got mad because we weren't feeding our mind. Imagine if you got hangry, right? Because you didn't feed your mind today. Like, yo, I am pissed off because I did not feed my mind today. But people don't do that though. People are just like, well, I didn't feed my mind today. I'm going to let it starve. Let it be. It'll figure it out. Let it starve. And there's people that their minds are starving because they haven't fed it in months. They haven't fed it in years. Think about what I'm telling you for real. Think about what I'm telling you. What happens when you're hungry? Right? When you're hungry, you feel angry, you're sad, you know, like you're frustrated. You're like, man, I'm so hungry. It's all you focus on. It's all you focus on. When you're hungry, it's all you focus on. Okay? I've gotten to the point where if I don't read, I start to feel off. I start to feel, like disconnected, sort of say. And I actually start to become hungry for the information. Has anybody else gotten to that point when it comes to like reading and listening to audios? Put a 1 in the chat box if you've gotten to the point where if you go a day without reading or listening to an audio or so on and so forth, that you almost start to get hangry almost with yourself, sort of say, right? You start to look for the information. Okay? And that's what's important about this, guys. And I need you guys to all understand this. Listen to it again. If you care for your mind, you got to care for your mind. You have to nurture it. What is nurturing, right? It's showing it love daily, right? How can you show love and nurture your mind? The morning routine, right? The reason why I am vibrating so high, the reason why I'm feeling so good is because I've been nurturing my mind 17 days in a row. All right. I haven't been taking weekends off. Monday through Sunday, I have been nurturing my mind. I've been taking the time every single day to nurture it, to care for it, to pour into it, to meditate, to clear it of any energies, right? Any thoughts, anything. I'm really, really taking the time, okay, to nurture my mind. Okay. And I'm caring for my mind, I'm nurturing my mind, and I'm cultivating my mind. I'm preparing my mind. Okay. And if you do that long enough, and if you prepare it long enough, it says that if you do that long enough, your mind will blossom far beyond your expectations. And that is so true. Because the last 17 days, think about it, I've only done 17 days. Right? I've only done 17 days. My mind is already blossoming beyond my expectations, and it only been 2 weeks and a half. Imagine when I've been nurturing, caring, and cultivating my mind for 3 months straight, 6 months straight, a year straight. Imagine how further it is going to be. Imagine that. So, and then he says this. He says, but if you let the weeds take root, right? What do you think he was trying to signify when he said the weeds, right? Type in the chat box, what do you think he meant with the weeds? What are the weeds? What are the weeds signify? Right? He says, but if you let the weeds take root, right? The weeds are the distractions, the negativity. What else? Distractions, negativity. Yep. The doubts, right? The fears, the worries, the low vibrations, right? Those are the weeds, the bad thoughts, right? The self-doubt, the fears, the whole on and so forth, right? The worries. But if you let the weeds take root, lasting peace of mind and deep harmony will always elude you, right? What did we say the real flex was, right? What did we say the real flex was? We always said that the real flex is not money. We always said that the real flex is not the cars, the clothes, and the jewelry. What do we say the real flex is, right? The real flex is peace of mind. That's the real flex. That is the real flex. You know how good it feels to have peace, that everything is working in your favor, that all your bills are paid, you have hundreds and millions of dollars flowing into your life. You could travel to wherever you want to travel to. Your health is good, your family's good, your kids are retired for generations to come. Your kids are good based off the decisions that you made, right? You're eating healthy, your mind is clean. That's peace of mind. You don't have nothing to worry about. You have no fears. You have no doubts. You're connected with God more than you've ever been. That's true peace of mind, right? And that's what he said. He said, if you let the weeds take root, lasting peace of mind, which is the real flex, and deep inner harmony, right? The ability to really deeply know yourself and have that deep inner peace, right? It will always elude you. It was always going to avoid you. You'll never be able to get it. So if you are currently dealing with fears, doubts, insecurities, you're doing yourself a big disservice. Listen to this. Then he's talking to the guy in the story. He says, John, let me ask you a simple question. If I went into your backyard where you have that garden you used to tell me about so much, and I threw toxic waste all over your prized plants, you wouldn't be thrilled, would you? He said, agreed. He said, as a matter of fact, most good gardeners guard their gardens like proud soldiers and make certain that no contamination ever enters. Okay. So he said it, listen to it really quick. You gotta really break this stuff down. He said, as a matter of fact, most good gardeners guard their gardens like proud soldiers. Right? I always tell you guys this, stand guard at the door of your mind. You got to be very careful with who you let pour ingredients into your mind. This is why not listening to the news, paying attention to who you follow on Instagram, right? You know, I had to unfollow all those big news pages, the World Stars and the this pages and all of that. I had to unfollow all of that. Okay, because I didn't want that stuff pouring into my mind. If I'm following anybody that is dropping, if I ever scroll and I see you post something negative, you get unfollowed. because I can't afford to even see that kind of stuff. I can't afford to see that kind of stuff. Right? All of that stuff had to get out of me, right? So I make sure that no contamination ever enters. Yet, look at this. He said, yet, this gets powerful right here. Listen to this. I'm going to read this paragraph and look at how powerful this is. He said, yet, look at the toxic waste that most people put into their fertile gardens of their minds every single day. The worries, the anxieties, the fretting about the past, the brooding over the future, and those self-created fears that wreak havoc within your inner world. In the native language of the sages of Sarvana, which has existed for thousands of years, the written character for worry is strikingly similar to the character symbolizing a funeral. Yogi Raman told me that this was no mere coincidence. Worry drains the mind of such of its power. Sooner or later, it injures the soul. This is important. He said, listen to it one more time. He said, look at the toxic waste that most people put into their fertile garden every single day. The worries, the anxieties, the past, the too focused on the future, the self-created fears, all of that stuff wrecks your inner world. I need you guys to understand this, right? It wrecks your inner world. I can't, even if things are bad, I can't allow those things into my mind because I understand this on a different level. I was just telling my little brother and Chele this. I'm like, because he was like, yo, listen to this. I'm like, yo, it's crazy that you say that because I read that, but I feel like all of that stuff has been installed in my mind subconsciously already because it's just there. I just know when I learned that, I know now that I always have to stand guard at my mind. I can't have any doubts, any fears, any insecurities. And if they ever come, I got to kill them. I got to kill those thoughts. I got to kill them right there and then. And how do you kill a negative thought? You got to overcome it with at least 5 positive ones, right? So if I ever catch myself telling myself anything negative or doubtful or fearful, I will tell myself the opposite of that thought 5 times, right? So if I doubt myself, I'll be like, okay, boom, I caught myself doubting myself. I'll tell myself 5 positive things. You are successful, Nano. I believe in you. You're the best. So on and so forth. Bam, 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 bam. And guess what? I will overcome that negative thought with 5 positive ones, right? It's called pivoting, okay? So it's important that you guys understand that, okay? You can't live in worry, okay? Every time you worry, you're planting a negative seed in your mind. Every time you doubt yourself, you're planting negative seeds in your mind. Every time that you have a fear, a doubt, an insecurity, a negative thought, a negative energy, a doubt, anything, you are planting seeds of negativity in your mind. And like it said in the Stranger Secret right before we started this call, your mind is like the fertile soil. Whatever you plant is what you will harvest. Okay? Whether it's good or whether it's bad, okay, it is a reflection of what you planted. So this is what I tell people. Look at your situation. And if you're not happy with your situation, it is a reflection of the seeds that you've planted weeks and months ago. Don't blame it on the person to the right, to the person to the left, to your mom, your dad, and all of that. No. It was you that planted it. You are the only one that can plant the seeds in your garden. So if you're not happy with your current result, you were the one that planted those seeds weeks and months ago. And now they are harvesting. And now you're like, wait. What's going on here? This is not what I wanted. Of course, it's not what you wanted, but that's what you were focused on. You were focused on what you didn't want. You didn't want to be financially stressed. You didn't want to have people leave your business. You didn't want these things to happen. And now they're happening. And now you're like, oh my God, Oh my God. These were the seeds that you planted, right? When I saw myself making all this money, when I saw myself traveling the world to 10 different countries, and I saw myself jumping out of planes in Dubai, and I saw myself in cages with tigers in Thailand, and I saw myself with a podcast that was ranked in the top 65 in the United States. I saw myself doing philanthropy. I saw myself with my baseball academy. You know what that all was? Those were all seeds that I planted that were now harvesting. These were all seeds that I planted. Those are just reflections of seeds that I planted. The same way that I planted positive ones, I've also planted negative ones. I know what it's like to plant both. And I know that my life is a reflection of the seeds that I plant. That's all it is. Whatever your life is, whatever your current situation is at this very point in time, whether it's good, bad, in the middle, whatever it is a reflection of the seeds that you've been planting in your mind in the last 3 to 6 months. And if you are not happy with your current situation, it's time that you change what you plant in your mind so that 3 months from now, 6 months from now, when it's the end of the year and the beginning of 2023, you guys are like, wow, this is awesome. This is what I want. My life is better. But you can't worry. You can't have fear. You can't have any doubt. You can't do anything about the harvest that you've already got. You can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about the harvest that you've received up to this point because it is a reflection of you and it is 100% on you. It wasn't like I was behind your back. I was like, you know what? Let me go behind Natalie's back and let me plant some negative seeds over here for her. And let me plant some negative seeds over there for her. No. It wasn't me. It wasn't your mom or your dad. It wasn't your girlfriend or your boyfriend. It wasn't your friends that no. It was you. It was you. You allowed those things to happen. Because if you see me coming into your garden and you know that I'm gonna and I ask you, yo, what are you gonna plant in my garden? And you tell me, nah, bro, I'm just gonna plant all these seeds of doubt and insecurities into this garden, and you allow me, then why are you mad when you get the bad results? You allowed that person to plant those seeds. You allowed your friends to plant seeds of doubt and fears into your mind. It was your fault. Now listen to this. He says this. He says to live life to the fullest, you must stand guard at the gate of your garden and only let the very best information enter. You truly cannot afford the luxury of a negative thought, not even one. That's what he said. Listen to it one more time. Put a 1 in the chat box if you want to live life to the fullest, right? If your goal is to live life to the fullest, like the best of the best, if that's what you want to do, right? You want to live life to the fullest, listen to it one more time. To live life to the fullest, okay? You must stand guard at the gate of your garden. The garden is the mind. And you must only let the very best information enter. You truly cannot afford the luxury of a negative thought, not even one. Not even one. Can you imagine that? Not even one. Not even one. You can't afford it. I remember reading that. I have it highlighted on me, and I was like, when I read that, I was having, I probably had like, I had already probably planted like 20 seeds of negativity before I read that one. And I was like, damn. I need to change ASAP. He said not even one. So I can't even have one. Right? So I was just sitting there like, scratching my head like this. I was like, damn, bro, I need to change ASAP, bro. I need to change ASAP. As soon as possible. If there's a word that makes it even faster, I needed to change that. He said, the most joyful, dynamic, and contented people of this world are no different from you in terms of their makeup. We are all flesh and bones. We all come from the same universal source. However, the ones who do more than just exist, the ones who fan the flames of their human potential and truly savor the magical dance of life, do different things than those who live an ordinary life. For most, amongst the things that they do, they adopt a positive paradigm about their world, and that's all it is. You got to have a positive outlook on life, right? Listen to this. Julian added, the sages taught me that on an average day, the average person runs about 60,000 thoughts through his mind. What really amazed me was that 95% of those thoughts were the same ones that you thought the day before. Damn. When you look at it that way. So let's break this down really quick. The average person on an average day, that means today, today, Wednesday, August 10th, we will have about 60,000 thoughts today. Okay. He said 95% of those thoughts are going to be the same ones that we had yesterday. This is the average person. Okay. Now, if 60,000 is 100%, what did you say it was for 95%?
57,000.
57,000 thoughts will be the same ones that we had the day before. So 57,000 of our thoughts will be very similar to the ones that we had yesterday. Now, remember, we are not average, though. So this doesn't relate to us. For real, though, we're not. I'm not average. I know I'm not average. So I know this doesn't relate to me, but it just goes to show the reason why so many people are stuck. We read, we meditate, we journal, we listen to audios, we jump on Mornings with Nano. Even if you are on this call, you are not average. But think about your friends. Think about your family. Think about your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Think about the people around you that don't know this stuff. Think about majority of the people that walk down the streets in your neighborhood that don't have access to this information, that don't even know that we have 60,000 thoughts. Some of you guys didn't even know that till I just said it on this call. Some of you didn't know that we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. And 95% of them are thoughts from yesterday. It's pretty messed up when you think about it. That's what I be saying sometimes. Like, bro, this world is crazy. Because people just lack awareness. That's all it is. People are lacking the awareness. And then he says, "Are you serious?" I asked. He was like, "Very." He says, "This is a tyranny of impoverished thinking. Those people who think the same thoughts every day, most of them are negative and have fallen into bad mental habits. Rather than focusing on all the good in their lives and thinking of ways to make things even better, they are captives of their past. Captives. They are locked up. They are locked up in the past. What happened in the past. That's why I told you guys the other day, yo, call that person up and forgive that person. Forgive them. Let them go. Let that stuff go. Whatever happened, you lost that money. That person left your business. Let it all go. Forget about the past, bro. Let that stuff go. That stuff is killing you. It is literally killing you and you don't even know it. And I'm not saying killing you physically. It's killing you inside, right? It's killing you within. And I need you guys to understand this. This is so powerful, right? He said some of them worry about failed relationships or financial problems. Others worry about their less than perfect childhoods. Still others brood over, trifling matters, the way a store clerk might have treated them or the comment of a coworker that smacked of ill will. Those who run their minds in their fashions are allowing worry to rob them of their life force. They are blocking the enormous potential of their minds to work magic and deliver it into their lives and all that they want, emotionally, physically, and yes, even spiritually. These people never realize that mind management is the essence of life management. Bro, I'm only like 3 pages into this chapter. This chapter is like, I forgot how many pages. This chapter changed my life. I'm telling you. I sometimes come back and just read this specific chapter, just the most extraordinary garden. Because the way that he breaks this down, it's incredible. He says, people never realize that mind management is the essence of life management. You should write that down. Mind management is the essence of life management. You want your life to change? You need to understand the way you manage your mind. Listen to this. He said, the way you think stems from habit, pure and simple. That's something you need to highlight. Something so simple like that. That one little line is so deep. The way you think stems from habit, pure and simple. From habit. What do I keep telling you guys to do every morning? Do your morning routine, morning routine, morning routine. You think that I'm telling you guys to do this so that we can look cool and post it on our Instagrams and show people that we're doing it. Trust me, guys, it is way deeper than that. It is way deeper than that. Okay? Look, Crystal said the chapter is 31 pages. Now you know. I'm only I'm only on the 3rd page. I won't even be 8. It will literally take us 2 to 3 hours to finish this one chapter right here. It'll literally take us 2 to 3 hours to finish this whole thing. Right? But look at what he said. He says the way you think stems from habit, pure and simple. From habit. So if you change your habits, the way you think, right, will change. If I convince you to do your morning routine 7 days a week, the way you think is going to change. Guaranteed. That's why I'm so hard on you guys about it. Yo, do it. I don't care if you guys are like, Nano talks about this stuff every single day. I'm going to make sure that everybody that jumps on this call develops a morning routine, because that is the foundation to your whole entire life. Most people live their whole lives with no foundation. What I'm teaching you guys go bigger than business. This is for your life. This is for your kids. This is for generational curses to be broken and generational wealth to be created. Imagine if you can now teach this to your kids who are 5, 6, and 10 years old, or even less, whatever. Imagine if they could grow up learning how to practice silence in their mind. Imagine if your kids now understand the importance of reading every day, writing their goals down, visualizing, having vision boards, doing yoga, eating healthy. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine the programming that you can do for your kids now. Dude, I can't wait to have kids. From the moment I find out that my girlfriend is pregnant, we're going to be playing audios in the belly. In the belly, that we're going to start working on that. From the belly, we're going to start working. Speaking to it. Hearing the voices, the vibrations, everything. From the beginning of it. Seriously, I'm dead serious. My kids will know 5 languages minimum. Minimum. English and Spanish is guaranteed. You know, we were shortchanged. I don't know if you guys know that, but we were shortchanged. Right? I only know 2 languages. I'm so grateful that I know English and Spanish. But I could have learned French. I could have learned Portuguese. I could have learned so many other languages. I just didn't put myself in the position to do so because my parents didn't know any better. But I know better. And my kids will know more than just English and Spanish. I guarantee you that. Because I'm going to teach them early. I'm going to put them in classes early. I even want to learn another language. I want to learn how to speak Portuguese. Look, somebody on this call said they speak 8 languages, bro. I know people who speak 5, 6, 7, 8 languages. I know people personally that speak all of those languages. And you know what they all tell me? I learned as a kid. As a kid is when you can teach everything, right? He says most people don't realize the enormous power of their minds. I have learned that even the best conditioned thinkers are only using 1 of 100% of their mental reserves. It's just so powerful, man. So he says, in Savannah, the sages dare to explore the untapped potential of their mental capacity on a regular basis, and the results are outstanding. Yogi Raman, through regular and disciplined practice, had conditioned his mind so that he was able to slow down his heartbeat at will. He had even trained himself to go for weeks without sleep. While I would never suggest that these should be goals for you to aspire to do,